Hey, everybody. Great to see you. Charles Cook here with you today, live in our Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter Live. Today we are being English, hoy día es inglés. If you've got questions in Spanish, I will answer them. Si tienes preguntas en español, los contestaré en español. But mostly we're in English today. And we've got a lot to talk about. There are, once again, there's literally a nonstop flood of crazy stuff. Today's, I think, literally al momento, at the moment news is a new parole fee announced this morning by USCIS. This is connected to the big, beautiful bill, which mandates a $1,000 fee on paroles. Okay, that's a huge fee, right? I mean, that's a huge fee. Well, who is this fee for? Well, I think first of all, the announcement and the proposal that was published by USCIS is at its very least vague. Okay, it's vague, and it's what they say basically is if you file for a parole, a humanitarian parole, or are offered release on parole under 212D5, which is for humanitarian reasons or significant public interest, you have to pay $1,000 fee when you are admitted to the United States and must pay a yearly $1,000 fee. Now, there are exceptions to this, and that's a huge fee, right? In the law, and by the way, this applies to any parole granted after the date. So if you have a pending parole for this, you will have to give $1,000 to CBP on entering the country, or but you're not paying the fee to file. As they make clear, you're going to pay this when they decide to grant this parole. Now, there are 10 exceptions in the law to the $1,000 fee. You have a medical emergency and life-threatening, you got to get in the country. You're the parent or guardian of a child who's got an emergency. That's 2. 3, you're donating an organ and you don't have to go through the normal process. That's 3. Close family member dying. 4, close family member dead, funeral. 5, adopted child in process by a U.S. citizen, urgent medical condition. That's 6. An individual, an adjustment of status applicant returning from return travel abroad on an advanced parole. So the advanced parole for an adjustment applicant does not pay this fee. That's 7. 8, you're coming from a contiguous territory to attend an immigration hearing. There's not many of those left. That's 8. 9, Cuban or Haitian entrant under the Refugee Education Act 1980. And then finally, if the secretary holds a significant public interest, or you're going to help the government in a crime enforcement matter. Now, what we don't know, and at least to me is unclear, is the following: does this apply to advanced paroles for DACA? What about advanced paroles for asylum? What about any advanced parole other than adjustment of status? And the answer is, I don't know. The rules will be published tomorrow. So perhaps tomorrow we will have more information about this. What they published today was a pre-publication notice with an immediate effective date. But they did not publish actual regulatory language. And maybe they don't have to because the fee is dictated by Congress, but it's a little unclear. So we don't know if an advanced parole for DACA will now require a $1,000 fee. But other paroles that people have that have been given, like humanitarian parole, that are here for medical treatment, once you're in, do you have to pay the $1,000 fee every year? Again, it's unclear. It's unclear. But you need to pay attention to this because this is in effect as of tomorrow. So big news on parole. Look for some more articles in the paper tomorrow, and of course we'll post more information on this new parole fee once we get it. on our Facebook page, on our LinkedIn, and here on Twitter, and as well as on our YouTube channel. The next thing that is news, because the government's closed. You all know the government's closed, right? And USCIS is lying publicly, saying, well, they're not going to work in any cases. They're going to focus on fraud, when the USCIS is not funded by the budget. So there's no reason not adjudicating cases, but we've definitely seen a slowdown on case adjudication in the last 3 weeks. We're going into the third week of the shutdown, and you're gonna start to feel more pain going forward. But one pain point is that the Department of Labor, which is funded by tax dollars, and the Department of Labor plays an important role in the immigration process for people who's applying for H-1Bs, H-2Bs, and labor certification of PERM or EB3, EB4, EB2 issues. They're closed, right? So you can't get an H-1B approved without a labor condition application, and you can't file a labor condition application because the system's down. You can't file a PERM electronically because the system's down. So lawyers are facing some deadlines. I think with the labor certification, you have to file that within 6 months of your last publication. And some folks are running out. Some people dilly-dally, waiting a little bit long time, and so they're running out of time. So what they're doing is filing paper filings to the mailing addresses of the Department of Labor, hoping that counts. Now, previously, prior shutdowns, only one other's been this long, a little bit longer, like 35 days. They ended up excusing these late filings. I don't know if that was not Trump, though, right? It was a Democratic administration. So I don't know what they're going to do, but right now, if you have an H-1B and you're trying to change employers, that's a problem for you, because you can't get the H-1B approved. You can file it, and immigration has said there's actually a policy memo that says in this circumstance you can file the H-1B without the LCA, which is normally not allowed. You can file it, but they're not going to adjudicate it. And then, of course, what do you got then? All right, that was item 2 that we wanted to talk about. Item 3 was DACA, of course. You can't ignore DACA and the status of applications that were pending since 2021. They're still pending. Nobody's been adjudicated. There's been no movement on the case. Hopefully you all know that Judge Hannon suspended the response time for the government until after the shutdown. So they have as many days as the government is shut down after his original deadline, which was late October, to file. So now we're not going to get anything filed till November. So we're definitely looking at probably no new DACA adjudication, honestly, until next year, is what I'm thinking at this point, because this is delaying. The courts essentially are closed too, except for emergency cases. So yeah, everybody pays the penalty for a closed government, and the Republicans basically wanting to strip your health care. So there you go. The last thing before we get to questions, we don't have a lot of comments. There are a lot of people listening. Welcome. Is Trump's new, where is this? Trump's, I'm going to talk about this $100,000 HV. Many of you know that we filed a lawsuit, myself along with my colleagues at Impact Litigation. That's pending. The government has been served. We are now waiting on the government response time. They have 60 days to respond. Not affected by the government closure, and further, you've heard nothing more about it from USCIS about paying for this fee or anything like that, because it's illegal. So there is that. But the last big thing I want to talk about today is Trump's gold card. So Trump's proposal is that if you gift $1 million to the U.S. Treasury, then he's going to give you a gold card, a green card. Basically, you could live in the United States forever. One, that's illegal. The president can't make up laws. That's not within the president's purview to do that. He doesn't have a legal right to say, "Hey, I'm making new immigration laws." He's not the Canadian Prime Minister or the British Home Office. Only Congress can make new laws. So what is it? Well, here's what we think. But we've, again, heard no further word from the USCIS because they're too focused on fraud, and not going after real fraud either. They're going after made-up fraud. Is we think that they are going to modify the EB1 and EB2 categories extraordinary ability and national or national interest waiver to basically say, hey, if you have extraordinary ability, if you give $1 million to the U.S. Treasury, or you being the country's a national interest because you gave $1 million to the U.S. Treasury. I mean, I think they could do that. Maybe some people have argued they can't, but otherwise he's truly talking out of his earballs, because you just can't get to make the laws. I just think it's hilarious. I can't wait. Somebody called me the other day and said it's in effect. I want to do it, and I said it doesn't exist. It's not real. It's literally not real. The Trump gold card is literally not real. No, it is. He insisted because he saw it on TV. Yeah, it's fake. It's a big fake. He's faking you out, man. There you go. All right, let's take. I just think it was hilarious. I just found that absolutely hilarious. Now, of course, you know who I am, right? I'm Charles Cook. I am the founding partner here at Cook Baxter, and you can reach us. If you want an appointment, you just 404-816-8611, or you can email me. Or you can email me. I answer everybody's questions that emails me. So you can email me. I answer the questions, or you can book an appointment directly from our website at immigration.net. And our website's got 2,000 pages of information that you can find on there. We try to keep it as up to date as possible. And then finally, of course, you can follow me on the Twitter machine. So let's take a look at some of the questions we have today here. We got a lot of good questions. This is great. Arlise, how you doing? Good to see you. Hello, everyone. I'm glad everybody's doing good. So is that fee for advanced parole? Well, apparently, if there's an exception for advanced parole for adjustment of status applications, that would suggest that there is a fee for other types of advanced parole, but it's not clear. So I don't think it's clear from the statute. I think what it's designed for is to stop Biden's parole program. You know, the CHVM, the Cuban, Haitian, Venezuelan, Nicaraguan parole program, or the parole from Ukraine, right? The people paroled from Ukraine. They got to pay a fee. That's what it's for. But I think USCIS is taking it to the next level. And even though the statute doesn't say this, they say the statute doesn't say this. They want to charge $1,000 per year, which I mean, that sounds to me like a lawsuit. God, I would love to file a lawsuit on that. But we'll wait until they collect some money, and then we'll make them cough it up. I think that'd be a better way to do it. Any update on the extension DOJ asked for at the end of October? My understanding is that Hannon did accept that, as far as I know, but maybe somebody can correct me on there. Eduardo, I came here when I was 8, back in 2008. I've been living in the U.S. ever since. I recently graduated from Florida State with a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. Congratulations, Eduardo. I wish, today you've got what? You're 25 years old. And you don't have DACA, then you got a bachelor's degree. So basically, you have no options to use your degree in other than a black market economy. Maybe, Eduardo, you want to take a look at other countries. I mean, you have a civil engineering degree. I bet a lot of countries would love to have you, but not the United States, because yeah, exactly. Guy, yes, thank you for the. I live in Texas. I have a trip planned to Massachusetts at the end of this month. Will recent DACA ruling in effect if we live in Texas for fun? No, you can fly. Your DACA. The Texas case does not end DACA. It ends the work permit. So as long as your work permit is valid, which it still is in Texas, because it's not a final ruling, you can travel. Have a safe trip. You scoping out a new apartment there? By the way, it's cold in the wintertime there. Hey, Ross, please give some update on the visa shopping and post-charge after the in-tool. I think what he's referring to, Rennie, this is a good question, good point, is the Department of State came up with a policy memo 2 weeks ago that said you can only process for a visa in your home country, period, unless your home country doesn't have a consulate, and then you have to go to one of the designated consulates by the Department of State. Now, this rule is going to be a temporary rule. When once a new administration comes in, they'll end that. It's stupid. It's contrary to what they've done for decades, but it is what it is. So you can only go to your home country. And this sucks. If you live in Australia Well, you got to go back to Australia to get a new visa if you want a new visa. It just sucks. Moises, Mr. Cook, I hope you're doing well. I am doing great. I have had DACA for over a decade. Is it still safer? Yes, absolutely, Moises. Renew. Heck, they already have your information. You might as well renew it. Absolutely. Marcusa 7. What is going to happen with all the cases sent to lockbox when it starts not accepting checks anymore? No, so as long as the thing is received before the check cutoff date, which I think is what, the 28th, 28th, something like that, 20th. I forget what the exact date is. You're fine. They're not gonna send packages back. But after that, you've got to file with either an ACH process, that's a direct debit from your bank account, or with a credit card number. Now, what we're doing at our firm, we have set up an account with a company. And our clients will pay the company the money, and there's no fee to do this. They make money on the float, right? It's making money on the float. So it's called core pay, and so the client will get the money to the company, and they will issue the client a one-time use Visa card, and then you can put that information on there. Clients would also pay us, but then we're going to hold the filing until that check clears, right? So you give us a cashier's check in cash. You get the Visa card done the same day. Give us a check, yeah, we're regular check, yeah, we're gonna hold that. Or regular credit, we're gonna hold that. So really, you want to be able to pay with a credit card. This is the way to do it. All right, so we've got Chelly. Good to see you, Chelly. Any advice for any of us who want to attend protests? You don't. Look, if you have DACA, do not go to a protest. That's the simplest, easiest, best advice. I know you want to protest, but I'm telling you, unless you're a citizen, and truly, unless you're a citizen, I wouldn't even go as a resident. Don't go. Protest silently. Oh, and which reminds me, Shelley, of something I've been wanting to raise. And I said it last week in Spanish, but I want to say it in English. ICE has said that they are establishing a unit to basically use social media to find undocumented people. Okay, so if you have Facebook, like you're asking questions here, maybe you want to change your name on the question that you ask me. Remember, this stays on my YouTube page forever, right? I don't delete it. So maybe you want to change your name and identifying information on your social media, or use a separate social media account to ask questions here. I'm just saying, these guys are going to use every tool they possibly can to find people, because they're not finding enough people to meet their quotas. They're not. So just be careful out there. Out of Santillan, I know you would say get out of Texas. Well, no, I didn't say get out of Texas. What I said is, if you want to keep your work permit, you're going to need to leave Texas. DOJ asking for more time. Give us a, yeah. Well, I don't see a final decision, Arf, until January at the earliest. I really don't see it before January. So if you start your adjustment of status process, I don't think you have to move at that point. I think you're fine. So I think you're going to be okay. So I don't know your individual case, but make an appointment. We can talk about it. So good points. If I have an employment-based green card and moving to another resident, do I need to inform? Yes. Anybody who's not a citizen must keep the immigration notified within 10 days of their move to any other address, local or anywhere else. You do this notice of change of address on their website using a form AR11, an AR11 form. That's how you notify them of the change of address. Why would they send a call-in letter? Never been removed overseas immigration. I have approved 61 and 10 months out for worse. You got a call-in letter from whom? Jose, you need to talk to a lawyer right away. Because if you got a call-in letter, the chances are they're going to detain you. And again, CIS has said they're sharing information with ICE. So 601, instead of NTAing you, they just let ICE know where you are. So again, contact the lawyer locally to get help with attending that. Recently, how do you handle make a decision? Again, I already said that. I think it's going to be January. Saul, good to see you. Becky's in Texas. Good to have you here. Victor, just stopping by. Oh, you're welcome, Victor. Very kind of you. You're very kind. Yeah, I currently reside in Texas, and I haven't adjusted. By the way, do you know that there are over, what was the number? Over 120,000 DACA recipients in Texas. 100. It's the biggest, other than California, the second biggest state. 120,000 DACA recipients. Can you imagine a state losing 120,000 people overnight because they wanted to cut off their nose to spite their face? What a bunch of morons. I have just been interviewed beginning of November. Should I stick it out? Oh, yeah, you're fine. Yeah, you're good, Juan. You don't need to leave. You're good. Have a great time. And good luck. Have you ever seen any first-time DACA release? I have not gotten any. We have not gotten any approvals in the last week. Good question. Hola, Margot. Ojalá todo está bien. Destructor. No, there hasn't been an update. Hannon can grant it, but here wants. There's no reason not to. Basically, you're a cook. I don't know what you mean by that, but why is my DACA takes I'm on 4 months? Oh, Roberto, that's not long. Are you referring to renewal? Yeah, renewals take anywhere from 3 days to 10 months. If you're running out of time, you should call on your employment office. You should call them and use congressional assistance. Oh, first one in Spanish. Abogado, estoy esperando la aprobación de mi 601A, pero tengo miedo que me detenga ICE. Creo que me lo aprobarán el próximo año. ¿Puedo salir y esperar en mi país? No. Si sales, ya abandonas el 601A. Si quieres salir, lo que haría en ese caso es que haría la cita por el consulado en su país. El consulado te va a negar y de ahí va a presentar la forma 601 y tendrás 2 años más esperándolo en su país. Would you say USCIS and immigration are more favorable if coming from a comparable country like the UK? Well, it depends, honestly, on the color of your skin. Yes, I said that out loud. Hola, abogado. ¿Usted cree que la Corte Suprema de una decisión a fondo sobre la ciudadanía por nacimiento? Well, lo harán en la primavera, pero no van a cambiar la ley que existe. 2007, mi hermana obtuvo orden de deportación en ausencia en Harlingen. Está casada con su hermano. ¿Es posible transferir a la casa para ver? No, porque el corte que lo deportó tiene que reabrirlo. Thank you, Vanessa. I hope you're doing well, Vanessa. Good picture. Love your new picture. Jesus, any info on the commercial driver's license on DACA? I think they're taking them away. Didn't they give people 2 months till the end of the year to taking them away? Somebody should sue on that. I can't sue on that. It's not my wheelhouse, but somebody should definitely sue on that. Jesus, any info? I've already talked about that. All right, Attorney Cook, can one travel internationally while what do you move conditions? Yes. So if you have a conditional green card and have filed a Form 751, you can travel internationally on your green card. Now, which of course is expired, but you have an approval notice, you have a receipt notice, which extends your card for 4 years. My advice on that is to make an appointment online at USCIS.gov using Emma and get what's called an I-551 stamp. An I-551 is a green card stamp in your passport. It just makes travel easier. And yes, you can travel. Have a great time. Don't drink the water. How difficult is it to ask to change a venue of a deportation? It's not hard if you move, but you physically have to move in order to change venue. You can't just mail it in from someplace else. They're going to want to see a lease, utility bills, bank statements, job letter to show that you actually live somewhere else. If someone on DACA has an expunged record, again, expungement doesn't exist for immigration. Okay, you can expunge anything you want. Immigration, you still have to disclose it, and they see it. So if it was expunged previously and you've been approved for DACA, they'll approve your DACA renewal. How long is the visa T taking? You know what? I don't know off the top of my head. I haven't looked in a few weeks. Why don't we take a look at the processing times, which I'm going to do right now on their website, and see what they got here. They're just verifying that I'm human. We'll take a look at the T visa here, which is an I-914. We'll look at the service center, SCOPS, that does this, and they say the processing time is currently essentially 2 years. 2 years. Before you hear anything. And that's because they're slow walking all over. I saw news coverage. A 22-year-old was released by ICE in Chicago because he's awaiting proof for DACA. I mean, he has a pending 2020 case. I don't know what it means. But awesome. Great work by his lawyers. Great work. I don't know what it means, though, because I haven't seen the story. Hello, DACA recipient from Chicago. How would we proceed if we come in with ICE? You should not be arrested if you have DACA, which is why you carry your card with you at all times. It's required. So if you're current, you should not be arrested by ICE. Now, we have just been retained, just so you know. He's just been retained by an individual who was deported, and he had valid DACA. But he appeared to have been deported by mistake. So we'll be filing a lawsuit to bring him back. This is why it's really important that you keep saying, I have DACA, I have DACA, I have DACA. If you somehow get into ICE custody and you get to a phone as fast as you can and have your family call a lawyer to file a habeas corpus petition to get you out of custody before you're deported and have to fight to get you back. You think there is less security for immigration generally if coming from some country, the UK or Ireland? I think it's the same mistreatment from everywhere. I think the idea that you think you're safer because you're from a different country is hogwash. I think you're in danger everywhere. We appreciate. Oh, thank you, Edwin. Karina, I live in Texas. Would be moved to a red state with everything going on. A bad idea for us. Move where you want to. No other state is suing because no other state is stupid. I mean, think about this. Trying to kick out 120,000 individuals who pay taxes in your state, they're going to feel that pain. I can tell you that. All to save money on a driver's license, which doesn't cost you anything. Yeah, just stupid. Someone currently had TPS from Honduras, Nicaragua, or another country would be able to apply for DACA as a first-time applicant. Yeah, as soon as it opens up, if you qualify, you should be able to apply. Child overstay doesn't qualify for DACA. Okay, let's see. Oh, you are a child overstay, comma, you do not qualify for DACA. Is marriage your only option? Well, you know, there's no unlawful presence if you leave before you turn 18, but you're not getting a visa to come back. You're not getting a student visa to come back because you have an intent, you've never lived anywhere else. How are you going to prove you're going back home? So I think you apply for DACA when that happens. Oriel Resendez, good to see you. I have a friend that had a work permit before DACA. He's 20 at the time. When a document he applied for that. He's been on it since. Can his employer sponsor him? Well, I mean, if he had no unlawful presence, an employer can sponsor him. Yeah. Blue state is better. I agree. Blue state is better. How many probabilities does someone have of getting a green card if they came in the U.S. illegally without inspection, but their sibling is a U.S. citizen sponsored by them almost 20 years ago? Well, 0, because you will have to leave the country for 10 years unless you have a qualifying relative, a mom or dad who's a resident, and then they can file a 601A for you, and then you can go consular process without waiting abroad for 10 years. It's that time. Again, if the ADs are revoked, will the 1 year of military still allow me to work, live in Texas? Yes, that's a different parole. So yes, you could. What do you think we will get a Hannon update on? Not until the shutdown's over. DACA and CDL, can you do anything? No. Sorry, you cannot. Find a lawyer to sue. What happens if ICE pulls you over even though you have DACA? You should always carry, if you're legally in the United States and you're not a citizen, you should always carry your documents. It's a $135 fine if you don't. If you're a citizen, you don't have to carry any documents, but if you're brown and you're in Chicago, you'd be a fool not to carry your passport around because these guys are Nazis. All right, I shouldn't say they're Nazis. They're brown shirts. Same thing. But if you're not documented, carrying documents around just prove that you're not documented. So why would you do that? I'm in Texas. Are we still going to be able to fly to another state? Well, you won't be able to. You won't have a real ID, so I don't know how you're going to fly. Hermana, fue a la embajada de San Salvador y le negaron su visa por no atender corte. Oh, pero su orden de inocencia fue dismissed y vacated por allí con una joint motion. Well, I mean, ella debe contratar un abogado para llevar una queja contra el consulado, porque ella puede regresar. Thank you, Angel. Pleasure to represent you. I'm a stay-at-home mom from Texas. Is it bad if I stay up to fun? No, I mean, if you don't need to work, you still have DACA. Gabriela, how can you please give us a time frame to be awarded a visa? 2 years. Is DACA open for brand new applicants? Not yet. I live in Connecticut and I'm traveling to Vermont this weekend. Oh, what is Vermont? Some sort of red state holdover? Fine. Have a great time. Great, Audrey. I will answer it when I get off of here. I'm going to get our money back for the lawsuits they are processing DACA apps. Yeah, well, that's the goal. Remember, we told you we would follow up at the end of October. So everybody gets refunded if we don't file. Absolutely. But what we're waiting to find out is what's going to happen. That's what we're waiting for. Martinez Banderita, what does it mean to you, the removal of the but unlawful presence law that would be coming in with the update? Meaning those good citizens can be deportable. Well, you're not deportable because you have deferred action still, but you're accruing unlawful presence. If you didn't have it before, that's a problem if you have to leave the country. So generally speaking, if you stay, you can't be deported, but can't work, can't drive. It's going to be a hard life. I have a question. I am married to a U.S. citizen, but no longer with him. He has some mental issues and couldn't keep my kids in that situation. I can apply for citizenship. I have DACA now. Well, Adriel, if there was abuse because of his mental illnesses, you may be eligible for VAWA. You should contact a lawyer. We do these, but other lawyers do them too. Just don't go to some TikTok lawyer and pay $13,000. Those cases don't cost $13,000. Okay. Or 15 is what I heard they raised their fee to. Don't do that. What's the point of having DACA without a work permit and accruing unlawful residence? I don't see that. I mean, you can't be deported. That's the point. That's it. You're welcome, Greece. For applications located in the U.S., at least sounds like 1,000 will be billed. It's pretty much ready to approve your application. Right. So you don't pay, as I said, you don't pay up front, Matt, but it's unclear which ones you have to pay for. The wording of the register it's poorly written, is what I'm telling you. They clearly didn't vet it so anybody knows what the law is. Mr. Cook, I have a DACA for almost 7 years. I also have a deportation. Can I still go out and come back with no problem? If you have an answer for all, yes. I got married in 2020, waiting for the I-130 proof, so nothing. What should I do? It's been 5 years. Is your wife a citizen? And your I-130 has been in 5 years? Brian, you should call your lawyer because that shouldn't be pending for 5 years. Too late to renew DACA in Texas? No, DACA still exists in Texas. I just don't know whether immigration will get to it before then. Remember, they said they would refund the money if you have a pending application. The first will ask you where you live, because if you've moved, then they'll adjudicate it. You have an office in North Carolina. I used to have an office in Charlotte, and then it was just too much hassle, honestly. So my associate there was Andres Lopez, and he's a great lawyer in North Carolina, Andres Lopez. So if you want a North Carolina lawyer, Andres, fantastic, top of the line. I don't see why USCIS can't already process pending. Well, they can. They can, right? They can, but they're not. Thank you for, oh, you're welcome. You're very, very kind. I think MJ and Kobe are way better. I have DACA. Did advanced parole? Can my employer sponsor me? If you don't have if you don't have any unlawful presence, in other words, you got your DACA before 18 and a half. By the way, the advanced parole doesn't help you for an employer. It only helps you for a spouse or a child over 21. Waiting in Mexico to correct name change to be able to get my wife's passport. Should I submit AP US now or wait until she has it? I'd file now. Why wait? I mean, she can't AOS unless she has advanced parole. So, Fabs, how are you? All right, we've got Face Queen. So because we are immigrants, your first right is being yes, it is. I'm going to tell you, if you post something and your case is not because of that post, we're going to have a really hard time winning that case. Why? Because almost all benefits in immigration are discretion based. Really hard. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Look, I get it. Trust me, I get it. If a person, hey, New Jersey, how you doing? Love Jersey. If a person is driving and a police officer stops the person for any reason, the officer knows this person has different orders by putting the person in a computer. I don't think so. I don't think they can. I don't know for sure, but I don't think so. I just don't know. But I don't think they can. Can you still do advanced parole? Yes, you just have to pay $1,000 fee. Do you have to pay to make an appointment with it? Yes, my appointments are paid because my wife says my time is valuable. That's why I have all this gray hair. If I didn't charge for appointments, I would be living in the poorhouse because this is what I do. I meet with people and give legal advice. Abraham Lincoln once said, a lawyer's advice is his stock in trade. It's what he sells, my time, my advice. A new fee? Yes. That's Remy. That's what we don't know. That Remy is what's unclear. Any update on any injunctions or TRO for H-1B? No, that's going to be we're 58 days away from that. Brian Rodriguez, and we're not filing for an injunction or TRO. There's no imminent harm. We can't get it. Apply for AP once you come back to do a motion to reopen. All right. Hola, buenos dias. Good to see you, Adrep. Gabriela, go. Thank you for sharing information. Can you please elaborate on visa T? Well, a T visa is for individuals who have been trafficked for sex or for labor. Basically, it's not like a U visa where you have to get a police report or a police signature, although it does help if you have reported it, even to ICE itself or HSI, especially with sex trafficking. And they do help people. But it is taking 2 years to get a bona fide determination on a T visa. And there's a limited 5,000 T visas a year, so those are now backed up now for several years. What was said about first-time AP? You can still do it, but we haven't gotten any back in the last week. AP, now the price went up. Well, yeah, you might have waited too long. Well, any pending case would get charged too if they're going to apply it to it. All right, Arlette, how mucho is advanced parole? It's $630. How far in advance can you do AOS? My son will be 21. You can't do it until your son's 21. Is it still safe to travel advanced parole in Texas? We don't need advanced parole in Texas because it's the United States. Michael Broder, is it normal for USCIS to tell you that your AOS gets approved, but they haven't told you your card is being produced, just that they may be required to report for better? Well, if your biometrics are bad, they can't send the card because the card has biometrics in it. So is it normal? No, because usually you do biometrics beforehand. But has it happened? 100% yes. I would call them or call your congressman for help. Saw another attorney break it down to 630 plus. Yeah, well, that's a little unclear. I'm going to tell you, I don't know, Arlette. I've read the rule and I don't understand it. But I've only done this for 36 years. So maybe the other lawyer has more insight than I do. How can we book a consultation with you? Well, that's easy, Arlette. That is really easy. All you have to do, call that number. Just call that number right there. 404-816-8611. 404-816-8611. Call that number and we'll help you. Very cool, right? Let's see, Arlette. We were just at that number. Montenegro Kimberly, hello. My husband has a deport order, clean record since charges were dropped, no DACA or lawful entry. What are my steps to process residence? Okay. So, does he have a legal entry? If he has no legal entry, then you need to do an I-212, then an I-601A, and then a consular process. It'll take about 5 years. Told you last month, my lawyer forgot to put divorce papers. We had an IO and 212G. My lawyer flaked. Oh my gosh. Get a different lawyer, Sandy. Is there a specific time frame to file for a U visa? If someone was assaulted in 2019, as a police report, yeah, they can still file for U visa. It's up to the police. I am not Mr. Baxter. I'm way better looking and much older than Mr. Baxter. But I'll answer your question anyway. I don't consider it an insult to be called a younger man. Our VAWA packages taking currently, well, they're not even feeing them in. I mean, we got fee requests pending since April or May. So it's a long time because they're basically not doing VAWA cases right now. Yes, you do all have families. That's right. How far in advance can we apply for AOS for sub when you're 20s, 21? Carmen, muchas gracias por toda la información que se nos proporciona. Atravesemos de esta plataforma. Una pregunta, doctor. ¿Todavía se dan visas para la entrada a este país? Sí, están dando visas para entrada. My friend married a U.S. citizen. After their first interview, they were told to wait for a decision, but later got a second interview instead because immigration didn't believe they were really married. Could be these had different addresses. Well, there could be a lot of reasons, Angie. I don't know your friend or her husband, but this is the kind of case that you need to have an experienced lawyer. 100% required to have an experienced lawyer. All right, Jesus, what do you think is the situation of Venezuelan TPS? February 5th cohort with pending TPS EAD applications, status authorized, unlawful presence. Well, if you're good, if you're basically in the 2023 tranche, That's good till next year. You still have TPS. You still have work permission. You still are not accruing unlawful presence. But if you're in the tranche that expires in November, you should be doing something about it at this time. I filed for AP in July. I got a job promotion in Texas. I've been with my girlfriend 3 years. Should I propose? Well, I think you should propose if you love her, for goodness sakes. Get married. Start making babies. Trump will be happy. Hi, can you please explain the process of adding a spouse? What other steps follow up to it? So if you have a pending I-140, you don't need to notify immigration you got married. They'll just automatically be included once you go for your adjustment or your consular process. I met your son in Utah. Thank you, Jennifer. I'm glad you did. Yeah, Jennifer. Phil is awesome. My son is an extraordinary lawyer based in Utah. Every bit as good as me and way better looking and far younger. What is the denial rate for perm certification and skilled category? The denial rate for labor certs is like 2%. Like 2%. Nobody, because they're self-selecting and they're all done by lawyers. So they just don't get denied very often. Where is the Facebook link? I don't know. On Facebook, I guess. Cook Baxter is our page. By the way, if you got to go to Facebook, look at Cook Baxter, K-U-C-K Baxter. You'll see it there. Hello. How far in advance? You keep asking, Arlette. I'm going to have to block you on the next time that comes up. If family member has 2 petty thefts on their record, this is over 20 years ago. We have a court paper paid off. It's under 245I wants this. Well, we would need to see the actual record. This is when you have to do a consult. You got to bring in the documents, and then we make a determination. Don't take legal advice that changes your life off of a live stream. Really, never a good idea. Can I carry a copy of my DACA? I know everybody's afraid of losing the originals, but I should carry an original. Still approving first. They are. We just haven't got one in the last week. Any word? A new parole? That's we don't know. Ismail already talked about that. My sister turned 21 in a year. What does that process look like for AOS for my parents? Well, presuming they entered legally, and they only have one entry, they just file an IRAOS. Call for an appointment, Araceli, or email me. I'll check for the email at the end here. Email me and I'll send you some information. Today's Aquino. You may have gone over this. I just hopped on. I applied for it for March. Once the fee, well, again, we don't know if that fee is going to pertain to a DACA advanced parole, but if it does, you will have to pay it to get the advanced parole. Yeah. Do you think they will process old DACA? I do. My mom stayed in Mexico in 2019. She's a 10-year ban. What kind of condition? Well, what I would recommend is you file your petition for her in 2027. You file the I-130 in 2027 because it will take a couple years to process plus get the interview. And you want to time that interview for 2029, the day after her 10 years is run. Abogado, un familiar fue detenido por DUI, didn't have his DACA current. Nothing I can do. Nothing I can do. Sorry. Bad decisions have consequences. Generally speaking, immigration judges impartial. They're supposed to be, but they're not always. That's just the truth. Abogado, remember, they're not real judges. You know, they work for the attorney generals. How impartial can you be? Abogado, un familiar fue detenido por DUI. You already asked that question. I'm guessing still no procedure for position exemption. There's no, because there's nothing on the 100,000 exemption, and nobody's ever going to pay that fee. Abogado, un familiar fue detenido. Oh, I'm going to have to block you there, Arlette. I'm really sorry. Sorry about that. You only get to ask once. I answer every question. Natividad. ¿Recomiendas viaje con las pro la situación que estamos con inmigración? Yeah, recomiendo que viajes con las pro. Sí. Nancy, first marriage, submitted a petition for alien relative, but never finished the process and got divorced. Remarried, would that affect me in any way? Well, it shouldn't, although immigration is going to ask about the first marriage. Do you recommend a FOIA document required for sister interview? Well, generally no, unless you have issues. If you think there's issues on your immigration, then you should do a FOIA, but generally it's not necessary. In Texas, my DACA expires 2026, October, planning on sending my AOS this December. I would renew it. If you can afford it, I would renew it. Can people apply for cancellation under this administration? Of course they can apply. If you're in deportation proceedings, cancellation removal is not some magical solution. You have to be in deportation proceedings. You have to have been here for 10 years. You must have U.S. citizen children or a U.S. citizen spouse or parents that are citizens or residents. And you have to show exceptional and highly unusual hardship to those relatives if you're deported. Did you know they grant 2 to 4% of these cases each year? Yeah, don't count on this. Hi, from Louisiana. Louisiana, my DACA expires in March. It's risky. Your lawyer's wrong. Your lawyer's wrong. But you should also be renewing your DACA now. Now, Marty. Now you renew your DACA, but also send the advanced parole because it's going to take them longer to do advanced parole. I have 140 days of unlawful presence. When I file for AOS, I need to file for an additional form besides the usual ones. No, but you need to explain it on your application. Okay. Abogado, un familiar fue detenido. Yeah, he's toast. He's toast. Oh, you used a different email to log on. Yeah, I'm gonna have to block you there too. Oh, you got timeout. There you go. Afternoon, Mr. Cook. Do you take cases anywhere? My clients are all over. In fact, I'm flying tomorrow to Colorado Springs. I'm gonna be in Colorado Springs tomorrow for some meetings through Sunday. With our clients all over the country. Although I have a very good friend who's an extraordinary immigration lawyer, who's just like me, Aaron Hall in one of the suburbs of Denver, Joseph and Hall, great law firm, great law firm. Please give us a good family lawyer for divorce and kids custody. Where, Perla? I need to know where. I don't know anybody outside Metro Atlanta. Hello, how are you? What happens when you do carry your work permit and original letter of DACA approved, but the ICE agent decides to go rip out the front of you? Wow. Make sure your lawyer's got a copy. I mean, obviously you have copies of all your documents back at home. If I have 245I and someone managed to get a sponsor for EB3, is it possible to do adjustment status? Yeah, you only have one entry. Absolutely, Howard. And you can remember, the 245 requires you show whoever the qualifying relative was here on December 20, 2000. We legally adopted my half sibling at 17, but they have lived with us since 13. He's currently in the Marines. Can he legalize by husband who has no status? The question is no, because he had to have been adopted before 16. Can't sponsor your dad. I'm so sorry. ¿Cuándo cierto tiempo se está tardando cuando se aplica por la ciudadanía? Ahorita, depende de dónde estás, pero 4 o 8 meses. Flying at an advanced parole but having unlawful presence for getting DACA is an issue. No, not an issue. You're fine. How many days of unlawful privilege triggers a 5 to 10 year bar? Well, there's no 5-year bar, unless you're talking about an in absentia order. You're talking about a 3 and 10 year bar. 3 and 10 year bar is more than 180 days, less than a year. 10-year bar is more than a year, and then you leave the country. But there's no bar unless you leave. Have you had any issues with AP clients not being able to be arrested? Nope, never, and nobody ever has. Nobody ever. I mean, how many times have I said this? We are getting more clear answers on DACA, Texas. No, we're not. Hello, Mr. Cook. I am in the process of moving to New York City from Houston. Good choice. I have a job lined up for a change of address. Put down a PO box. Yeah, you can put a PO box. Oh, they want your street address, but you can put a PO box. My friend married a U.S. citizen, and after their first interview, they were told to wait for a decision. Oh, you were Angie. Really? Don't ask questions more than once, people. Do you know the prices on AP? The price starting the process for the green card. I have DACA since day one. I mean, what we charge? I never talk about those online. They're reserved for consults. You call, make an appointment, and we go over the process. How long is the government? How long does it take for the permanent resident applicant to be approved? Anywhere from 3 months to 5 years. It just depends. You can't help case-based. I can. We have clients all over the United States. Is there an interview to remove conditions or automatic removal? No, there's usually an interview. There's supposed to be an interview. After another question, I moved into an apartment 5 years ago, but forgot to tell my lawyer I moved in there. And then when it's time for me to do my new DACA, I moved back with my parents. Is that an issue? No, not an issue. Is it possible for me to apply for residency without having a legal form of entry? Currently a DACA certificate, no criminal record? No, there's not. The permanent resident gets detained by ICE and they have a DUI, reduced to reckless driving. What happens? No, they'll be fine. DUIs don't affect residents. If I have 245 ISO, you already asked that. Oscar, I got a minor DUI back. Well, there's no such thing as a minor DUI. DUI is DUI. I chose my city background check, but I never went to court or got convicted. It happened before. I had a driver's license, security. Now I have DACA. So it's not an issue. It's not an issue. Any chance of position exemption? Maybe. Oh, tired. Oh, Brian, yes, my wife is from here. I-130 was accepted October 2020. So now I haven't heard it. You should get your lawyer to find out. Have you used a congressman? Call a congressman or a senator to assist. Would we get in trouble with immigration if we watch or click like an anti-immigration media post? I don't think so. Unless they're published by them. Does an attorney on companies? Yes, you should have a lawyer at your interview. You're being interviewed in front of a police officer who wants to find a way to deny you. Why wouldn't you bring a lawyer? Is it possible the judge would do a cutoff for DACA until each term is expired? Not that I'm aware of. I don't think that's a possibility. Do you versus outside of Texas? Yes, we certainly do. Mi hijo de 21 años, ciudadano, y yo residente. Mi esposo no tiene estatus y entró más de 2 veces en 2000 y 2004. Su hijo le pide, yo lo pido, perdón. ¿Crees que evitará que los siguen con alguna barra? No, tiene la barra de permanente. Si quiero hacer un 212, ¿podría hacer junto con los 405 pending DACA entrada legal? Yes, you can. What will happen if a dependent wife of an EB3 applicant lives in the U.S., has accumulated illegal presence by the time they can be added to the process? When do they become protected by the spouse? Well, they're never protected, right? So it's the adjustment application. You don't accrue unlawful presence, but if you had it beforehand, you're not going to be able to adjust if it's more than 180 days. How long is AP taking? Well, right now, 11 months. They are accepting humanitarian paroles, but I haven't seen an approval since Trump came into office. Can asylum seekers apply for advanced parole while waiting for their case? They can. They can. I don't think they're going to be approved anymore, and you're going to pay $1,000 probably, but they can. ¿Usted representa clientes de México? Sí, nuestros clientes están por todo el mundo. My husband has a removal order from 2004 when he was a minor. He's being petitioned by a church as a minister. He, as a pastor, does he need to have a removal order removed? Well, yeah, I mean, he can't get a green card. Does he have how's he getting a green card? I'm confused, Raquel. Can get advanced parole before applying residency. I don't know exactly what you need to do. I don't know, talking to somebody. How long do you think AOS takes? Anywhere from 3 months to 5 years. Hola, abogado, buenas tardes. Tuvimos la entrevista para la green card en junio y aún no escuchamos nada si es verdad. Solo dijeron que nos dejaron saber si necesitan algo más, cuánto se están tardando. Deben hacer una decisión en 120 días. Meant to say, not comfortable migration mail being sent to the address of, oh, okay, well, I get it. Let's see. Are your consults for clients solely in person? No, we do Zoom. We do Zoom and phone consults as well as in person. I prefer Zoom, honestly. You think the government shutdown will delay Judge Hanna? See, yeah, because he's not working. Not getting paid either. What if I'm common law married when I apply for AOS? There's no such thing as common law marriage in the United States. I don't know what you're talking about. Apparently, you're looking for a divorce lawyer in Atlanta. I would call, what is her name? Rachel Platt. Rachel Platt, P-L-A-T-T, in Roswell, Georgia. Was the Chicago DACA recipient arrested in Chicago pending case, or did the media think he was instead of real? I don't know. I don't know about the case. I live in Texas. It's safe to travel with AP. Yes, it is. I got the qualification for DACA. I just lost my TPS. Can I apply for it? You can when they reopen it. Don't apply now. How long has it taken to approve AP? 11 months. A family member with adult children admitted double entry in the country. Old was denied residency. Every lawyer told him he will never fix this. Yeah, he can leave the country for 10 years. Then he can get a green card. Good morning, sir. I joined a little late. I set up work. I submitted my advanced parole packet in July. Again, we don't know if the new fee is going to apply to it. We don't know. Guerrero, ¿cuánto tiempo está tardando la aprobación del advanced parole? 11 meses. Y una FOIA USCIS dice que la fecha estimada era 8 de octubre, pero no me ayudó. Tiene que dar los meses después de la fecha anticipada. You're welcome. I will have a great rest of the week, Super C. Question to piggyback off previous person's questions. With a child adopted at 17 or at least qualified to apply for? No, he does not. If you travel advance parole and something happens that gets terminated while you're out of the country, can you still come back? Yes, because that's not going to happen. Call your lawyer. We can help you get back. Got arrested for possession of marijuana before filing for DACA. Charges got dropped. Got approved DACA. It's safe to do advance parole as long as you were innocent. It was somebody else's marijuana. Do you take 01 cases? We've done hundreds of 01 cases as alternatives. Can you just give us a call and just set up an appointment and we will help. New citizenship exam starts October 20th for all applications received after that date. If a DACA recipient wants to apply for Canadian visa, where's a good place to start? Canada. Talk to a Canadian lawyer. Does USCIS wait until your 5-year green card anniversary to schedule an interview for naturalization? You have to apply for naturalization after 5 years, my friend. They don't schedule it. I changed my name to married name. I submitted non-solicited evidence. Was that okay? You don't need to do anything else. And we're going to be done here in just a couple of minutes. If my family was threatened by cartel back in '97, can I still do asylum? Of course you can. You'll be denied and then deported. Don't do that. Do you help with removal orders? We've done it, as people on Dreamers can tell you, we've done it thousands of times. We've helped folks fix prior removal orders. Happy to help. In Texas, if you get pulled over, can an officer ask the legal status of every person in the car? As far as I know, they can only ask the driver. Nobody else has to answer them. On the minister question from my husband, he has DACA, already has a legal entry. He can't adjust status through employment. He has the consular process. Any update on the visa revocation case? No. Is it a good thing to apply for a job petition? Well, jobs are good. I don't know what else that question's about. Common law marriage recognized in Texas. You got me. I don't know. Are you attending a No Kings process? Well, I've got that covered. I'm not going to tell you whether I'm attending. You can see me on the internet. Anybody who's not a citizen should not attend. What is the notice on USCIS about SCOPS and process times vary? SCOPS is the Service Center Operation System. So they run the service centers, and processing time is different for each service center. Alejo, I have a tricky case. Client came to the US with his parents at the age of 1 year old back in 2000. Parents had a work visa, overstayed. 2013, probably earlier, his parents are now residents, but he isn't. Client is now 26 years old and didn't apply for DACA. His parents should sponsor him, then do a waiver and get him a green card. Take about 10 years. Can I travel in the US with a valid Colombian passport? If not, if you're undocumented, you can't. Don't do that anymore. Last two questions. The person who filed my DACA has lost the file. Then you should do a FOIA request. Do a FOIA, get your file. Last question, Ricardo. I got DACA, a double entry, an advanced parole, and I'm married to a U.S. citizen. What do you think my chances are of getting a green card? Ricardo, you and I should talk about that because it depends on when your entries work. Depends on when they work. Can parents self-deport with or apply for outside? Yes, they can. Don't know if it'll be granted. But it has been great talking to everybody today. Remember, if you want to consult with me, I'm at 404-816-8611, 404-816-8611. You can also go to our website to set up an appointment at www.immigration.net, and you can email me directly at ccook@immigration.net. Again, I am Charles Cook. I am the founding partner here at Cook Baxter, and we're here to help you, and we're here to fight for your side. Have a lovely No Kings Day protest, and have a great week. Be careful out there. We'll see you next Wednesday. Same bad time, same bad channel.